Welcome to my channel and to this video. Got another good one here for you. Hopefully, we're going to be installing a ceiling fan today. One just like this. Now, yours may be different. If you're in the marketplace for one, I'll definitely put links down below for pretty much everything you see in this video in the description. So if you want to check that out, feel free. But the context here, we're going to be removing this dome, flush mount dome light from the ceiling, and instead putting together and installing this ceiling fan. Now, we like to go back and forth depending if we have bunk beds in the room. Well, I wouldn't say it's a habitual thing at all, but we had bunk beds, and that necessitated getting rid of the ceiling fan because it was basically too low, and the kiddo on the top bunk would have hit the ceiling fan. Not optimal. So we put in a flush mount ceiling light, and I made a separate video on how to do that. So we're going to be quickly just moving this, taking it out, and then proceeding with the ceiling fan installation. So first thing we're going to do, keep in mind I'm not a licensed electrician at all. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, so hire somebody if you're not comfortable with this. We're going to shut off the power, keep that light switch on upstairs, and then shut off the power so that you know that that light, when you come back up, it's off. And you can flicker it just to make sure that that breaker box killed the power there. And we'll leave that light on the down position as we go ahead and quickly take this apart. Now, I'm not going to show you how to take this apart. I'm not going to waste your time here because you're probably here just for the ceiling fan installation. So we'll fast forward that. And if you are interested in how I took that apart, you can search my channel for flush mount ceiling light, how to uninstall or remove. But this might be pertinent because depending on what's already on your ceiling up there, you may or may not need to remove this the little bracket here, because a ceiling fan bracket typically takes a different type of mount. This mount would be for more of a ceiling, right? That's what actually adheres the unit to the box in there. So we're going to take that out. Now, just these are some of the parts. There's a pin. We've got a variety of washers, nuts and things like that for the light fixture. This has a glass bulb that kind of goes over kind of covers up all the light bulbs. Those are the fan screws, and we've got a couple of set screws as well for the mounting bracket. So we'll start there. Now, if you have an existing one, read the instructions. It's going to be a little different, maybe quite different depending, but hopefully this video can just help you get kind of an idea of the general process. So we're going to be mounting this this mount, and this basically screws in, and the holes are pretty self-explanatory. There's not really anywhere else it could go, and we're going to get that super tight. Be careful not to strip out the screw heads there. And they do require special screws so that they don't back out. They're kind of anti-vibration screws. That should come with your ceiling fan unit. And we're going to get that baby super tight, okay? Now, you would have the option at this point to put the ceiling fan, these puppies on like that. We're going to hold off because once you put those on, it's going to be kind of hard to balance the unit on the carpet. Now, this is the down rod here, and what we're going to do, we're going to put this little cover over it, and there's a black ball at the top, or half ball, you could say, and we're going to kind of fish the wires through the underside of that, and they're going to come out the top end of the down rod, or where that half ball mount piece is. And we're going to screw the base of the down rod into the top of the ceiling fan motor unit like that. And we're going to align, there should be a hole there. We're going to align the holes and then take this little set pin, and it kind of operates like that, and we'll drop that through. It's not going to be threaded all the way on, but just enough so that those holes align. And then those set screws, there's a couple of set screws on the side there as well. Put the pin lock in place. And this is basically what we're dealing with. You have one big unit now. This baby's not going anywhere. And we're going to climb up the ladder. And with that mount that we just installed earlier, we should now be able to place the entire unit and kind of drop it right down into the mount. So it's a bit heavy. But once it's on there, you should be secure. Make sure none of the wires are pinching. And read your diagram to make sure that all of your wires are hooked up correctly. I'm not a licensed electrician at all, like I said, but the green, the ground wire, the green and the green. And then in this case, it was white and white. And then I believe the blue coming out of the ceiling fan connected to the black coming out of the ceiling. Something like that. So read that instruction manual carefully. Make sure those colors coordinate, and hire a licensed electrician if you are unsure. You don't want to fry anything here. All right, we'll go ahead and pop the power back on just real quick to make sure that that is correct. Looks like we have a burned out bulb, or it's not screwed on all the way, but it looks like we are good. I'm going to turn the power back off as I finish up the job, and I'm just going to push those wires, making sure that they don't disconnect. Push those little wing nuts, kind of tuck them in a little bit, just enough so that the cover, when you slide it up, should be good. Now, you can see it kind of goes into this, there's a little set screw there, and it allows you to twist it on in a clockwise way. And then once that's on, you can tighten that up. And there's another little screw that we're going to be inserting 180 degrees right across from it. You can see there a little hole with our screwdriver, and you can go ahead and tighten that up as shown. And that basically takes care of the down rod connecting to the mount at the top. Now we're just going to build out the bottom part, putting our ceiling fans on, getting those screwed in. Now this is a little awkward. You might want to take the bulbs out while you do this, and also be careful you don't scratch the finish. If you've got a drill, you could use a drill, just don't strip it out, right? And you don't want to scratch that finish on the side right there. I found the drill was a little bit easier, and with the magnetic drill bit ending, it helped make sure that those screws did not kind of fall down. If you're just using a screwdriver, it's a bit awkward, but like I said, you could do this part earlier, get these attached earlier, but it's a little awkward, like I said, if it's at a rest position. You don't want to damage the blades because the weight will be kind of leaning on the blades, if that makes sense. So this was my preferred way. We're going to get those all hand tighten super well and make sure it's balanced well. And in this case, it is. Tighten up the bulbs. And then we'll finish up with the glass cover. We'll turn the power back on. And you can see here we have good operation with the lights and a secondary switch controlling the fan without issue. So at this point, I can leave the power on because I'm no longer dealing with any of the wiring and whatnot. And now it's just a matter of stringing the pull chains through the respective holes. And here we've got a couple of different washers, a plastic one, a metal one, and then a nut that goes on to the end of the, watch this. We'll go ahead and slide this through, making sure those chains go through the respective hole. Their respective holes there. And then you're going to tighten it up. I've got the plastic washer on first because I don't want metal on glass. So that plastic one's going to go on first and the metal one over that. And we'll tighten that up with the nut itself tightens up. Spin it by hand. And you could use a pliers if you needed to kind of get that a little tight. But be careful, you don't want to over tighten it and possibly crack that glass bowl. And then there's kind of this fancy little ornate end piece that goes on just like that. And another little nipple piece that will kind of screw on and secure that into place. Again, your setup might be a little different, but this is basically how it works. There's going to be a washer and a nut that threads on to secure that glass bowl to the underside of the fan unit. Okay, and we'll get those chains hooked up. They just kind of snap on the pull chains, and those manually activate the light and the fan as well to adjust the fan settings. Okay, make sure everything's hand tightened, and we'll go ahead and test that out. Light works good, and the pull chain for the fan works good as well. So that is basically how you do it. Obviously, again, your setup might be a little different, but hopefully this has helped you out, get a general idea of how a ceiling fan is installed. Thanks so much, and don't forget to click that like button and subscribe for more do-it-yourself solutions.